Welcome back to the Ben Show, your outlet for everything outdoors and Western lifestyle. I'm your host, Rebecca Wanner, a.k.a. Beck, and joining alongside is my co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. We are talking about food. We're talking about food, what to take on the trail, and maybe what not to take on the trail. It's a topic that sometimes gets overlooked in the excitement you've been planning for months. Some of you have maybe booked a trip with even a guide or someone months out, and now it's go time. You're looking at the calendar. You're looking, do I have my gear? You've checked out everything else, but how well have you thought about that food you plan on taking on the trail? And
so when you say it's go time, it could be go time out there. You didn't even realize it.
Yes, exactly. And I had this brought up to me recently again by some gals that were excited about they're going to be going and doing some archery hunting after elk, and they have never packed in truly that far. And they started going, well, it's easy to quick buy some of those items you see off the shelf, or maybe you see an ad pop up somewhere of freeze-dried products, and there's many great ones out there. Excuse my stutter there. And the topic that comes up again is the, as you said, the go time, because what we don't realize is we talk about often being physically fit. Have you been hiking? Have you broken in your boots? Have you done all of those things? But here's the most overlooked situation that I have come across, and that is your stomach, your digestive system. Have you been preparing that for what you are about to go do out in the field? Amen.
That catches more people than anything, because you get all excited and you get your gun sighted in, right? Or you shot 100 arrows a day for the last 100 days. Yes. And you got all your gear, and you made sure that you got your scent blocker with, and you got all of these things with, and you're ultra prepared, which is wonderful. And then that's where the T-Man comes in, and it's no fun when you got to go and you are out on the trail. It has happened to everybody. And I know some people say, well, that's just part of the fun. That's part of the experience. Unless it happens to you.
I'm going to say there, and even as a lady, going number 2 on the trail is not what you want to be having happen.
Having that upset stomach that you just feel miserable and nothing is settling it.
So especially if you're somebody who sometimes may have problems with digestion already at home, think how it's going to be amplified. Or maybe you're somebody that's easygoing and you can eat anything, but one thing is going to happen. You're all of a sudden doing more physical
there's
activity.
More things than one is going to happen out there.
Well, think about this. You're doing more physical activity than you usually do. What does that cause you to do? Naturally, without even food being involved, you're going to have to use the restroom, right? Well, now go and introduce some of these foods you may not be used to because they are lightweight, easy to prepare, and now you're stuck out there miles from nowhere going, oh my gosh, my stomach can't handle this.
This bites more people than we realize. Hikers a lot. You get all excited. You go on trips. It happens when you go on a scouting trip, right? The Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 4-H clubs, all those things. You go on these different trips and your stomach is not used to said food because you're excited to begin with and all of these.
The nerves.
So, the nerves, right? So, we always say, take the food that your stomach is used to.
Yes.
If you want to take some of those dehydrated meals with, by all means take them with. But eat them at home first. Give your tummy a chance to get used to them, because like you said, everything is going to be amplified when you are out there in elk camp or whatever the case is. I actually put together your meals, your MREs, if you will.
Homemade. We call them DIY MREs.
Yep, I put those together
easy
for you, and it's granted, it's a fair amount of processed food, so there's a lot of salt in there, but it's food that we can eat at home, and we can, you get kind of used to it.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about just candies and cookies either.
No. My DIY MREs, for example, that Tigger assembles for me when I go out on my trips are very simple, but they keep a lot of protein, but some sugar, some carbs in there because, yes, we are using a lot more energy than we're used to.
There's a really high calorie count on each one of those.
You have to keep that up, though, because of it. But the key is they're foods that I am used to. And the other thing is we go about making sure we measure it out so that, say, for example, a serving size I know will last me for, all right, I just had my treat for an hour and a half. I know I'm going to hike however far in because you're carrying a pack. You've got a rifle or your bow, fishing pole. It doesn't matter. The weight adds up, but you still have to be getting substance into you. And that's why we're bringing this up, is to try these foods at home. If you know there is a trail mix that you really love and your stomach does fine with, make sure you're bringing that along with. But first off, measuring it out. Having little packets of serving sizes will keep you from overeating or overindulging on the trail too.
Nobody likes talking about this stuff, right?
I know.
Nobody does, but it's what you have to talk about. Look at me, for example. I got my gallbladder out here. Well, it's been over a month already, and I'm going backwards in finding out the foods that I cannot touch, and the list is getting more and more and more and more and more. So just for example, Beck and I have been announcing a fair amount of rodeos. I got to make sure that once I go into that announcer's stand, I can't have something in my stomach that is not going to agree with me for several hours prior because I'm stuck in that announcer stand for 3-4 hours plus. So amplify that if you're out on the trail and you're all excited and, nerves and all these types of things, think about what your tummy can handle and can't handle because it can ruin a trip really fast.
It really can.
It ruined it for your brother, too.
Oh, it did.
I don't mean to throw him under the bus. But
how do I say it? It backfired. We'll leave it at that, all right? It backfired. Right. So with that in mind, we joke a lot about being research and development here in our place, but it really is doing that R&D, trying those items and giving it a good go before you do go out on the trail and have fun with it. I'm going to tell you to do it this way too, especially if you're going on these trips and say your family can't come with. And this is an excellent way to get them involved and make it a family fun memory. Then that way the kids, they're kind of engaged. They're going, Mom and Dad, what are you packing? What are you trying? So there is fun ways to have this and make this a memorable hunt or fishing trip or hiking trip, but include everybody else before you head out on the trail. So with that in mind, have fun while you're packing for your trip and be sure to be testing and preparing before you head out. We are posting photos on thebendshow.com website that'll show you those DIY MREs that Tigger assembles before I head out to the backcountry. We're going to throw this to break, but when we come back, we've got a little bit more of what's coming around the bend.